Over 18 years after observing the burgeoning talent of an artist named Taylor Swift perform at a nightclub in the Pacific Northwest, country music sensation and American Idol judge Luke Bryan retains a vivid recollection of being profoundly impressed by her performance. In an extensive discussion on the podcast Club Random with Bill Maher, which was published on February 2, 2025, Bryan, aged 48, defended Swift in response to Maher's persistent assertions that he did not comprehend her allure. Bryan remarked that Swift's music is not intended for Maher, 69, and acknowledged that her immense popularity and the success of her sold-out Eras tour have been extraordinary to observe. Luke Bryan says he knew Taylor Swift would be a massive star in 2006. Bryan is not surprised by Swift's rapid ascent to prominence. In his attempt to elucidate the reasons behind Swift's immense popularity, he reminisced about the pivotal moment when he recognized that Swift was on the verge of becoming a significant star. A Halloween night nearly 2 decades ago at a nightclub in the Pacific Northwest. The particulars of his narrative can be traced back to the evening of Halloween in 2006. At that time, he indicated that he was traversing the United States to visit various radio stations in anticipation of the release of his inaugural single, All My Friends Say, which debuted in January 2007. Concurrently, Swift was actively promoting her inaugural single, Tim McGraw, which had been published in June of that year. Consequently, I was embarking on a radio tour to promote my inaugural single, Bryan informed Maher. I was required to travel by air to a radio station located in the Northwest. It was my inaugural visit to the Northwest, and I found it to be exceptionally attractive and stunning. Are you referring to the 2 volcanic mountains visible in the background? My ass was revved up to be up there. Well, I frequent a modest nightclub, he elaborated, detailing his attendance at a showcase concert organized by the radio station he was visiting. It is the evening of Halloween. Furthermore, my inaugural single, All My Friends Say, had not yet been released to radio airplay. I recently attended a concert during which Taylor Swift appeared on a radio program on Halloween night. I had recently encountered the song Tim McGraw for the first time. I found it intriguing when I listened to that composition. Upon Maher's articulation of her bewilderment regarding the fact that she composed a song titled after another country artist, Bryan responded, "Indeed, she excelled with that song." Thus, I found myself positioned at the bar, he elaborated, when the radio station introduced her, and I witnessed her performance for the first time. She is adorned in an angelic costume, complete with delicate butterfly wings, a petite sparkling guitar, and a charming halo. And I was sitting there watching this lady sing, and man, I was like, that may be the biggest star I've ever seen. In a state of astonishment, Maher inquired, "Were you aware of that at that moment?" "Very well," Bryan declared, "as she has just experienced it." Luke Bryan asserts that Taylor Swift excelled in engaging with her fans on social media during the initial stages of her rise to prominence. Subsequent to Bryan's narrative, Maher acknowledged his appreciation for a particular song by Swift, titled Sparks Fly, which was initially published in 2010 as part of her album Speak Now. "Indeed you do," Bryan remarked. "She successfully outmaneuvered you in that instance. So that's all it takes." However, Maher objected, stating, "It is not solely sufficient, as I have clearly encountered the other instances." "Oh dear," Bryan remarked, exasperatedly rolling his eyes, as Maher endeavored to recall an additional song he appreciated following his attendance at one of her concerts. However, there is indeed a considerable amount of vocal performance occurring on a moss-covered rooftop, Maher remarked, critiquing one of the stage designs featured in Swift's ornate Eras tour concerts. "Allow me to convey that immediately following my observation of her in that Halloween production," Bryan remarked, "it became apparent that there was widespread speculation regarding her engagement with her fans on social media platforms." Bryan had previously observed that social media emerged as a novel phenomenon, coinciding with the release of his and Swift's initial singles, facilitating a new avenue for artists to engage with their followers. He stated to Maher that no one has ever surpassed her in this regard. She worked her butt off and earned those fans. Upon Maher's acknowledgement that Swift appears to be a commendable human and a positive role model, Bryan responded with vigorous agreement, remarking that it is absurd that the most disparaging criticism one could level against her is that she has had multiple romantic relationships. The sole observation individuals seem to make regarding her is that she has had romantic relationships, he remarked. Then, she manages to attract the attention of Travis Kelce, and it becomes a matter of astonishment. May I inquire if you are aware of the reasons behind Taylor Swift's significant prominence? At the outset of her career, it coincided with the emergence of social media, which facilitated direct communication with her followers.